So we're here today with Dr. Alfred Mbinglo, founder and director of Pridepad. Thank you so much for making the time to meet with us, Dr.
Pleasure.
So let's start with talking about what exactly is Pridepad.
Pridepad is a biodegradable sanitary pads made out of banana and plantain fiber for rural schoolgirls and women who lack access to proper menstrual product. That's all about Pridepad, and it's an initiative of RECFAM. And RECFAM started in 2004, to empower women and the vulnerable children and promote safe migration towards development. And so Pridepad came as a call, as part of the event or part of the project of RECFAM, just to keep girls in school and to stop them from all kinds of vulnerability in terms of child trafficking when they are dropped out of school because they cannot afford sanitary pads, they are trafficked. Others who are dropped out of school when they start menstruating, they are given out to marriage, and the issue of child and forced marriage came in. So RECFAM throughout its work identified some of these challenges, and then we saw the need that there should be the need to come out with affordable products that can keep these girls in school and not just selling the pad to them, but also educate them on menstrual health management so that they will be aware of what it's all about, and then destigmatize menstruation. And that's the whole essence of Pridepad.
Okay. Yeah. So you've mentioned that it's biodegradable. That means it's being disposed, right?
Yes.
What exactly is a Pridepad made of? Because I know the disposable ones that I personally use, there's the top layer that lets the blood flow in, and then there's a middle layer which is the absorbent whatever, and then the one at the bottom that's like the plastic and the adhesive that doesn't let the blood flow out.
So when I say biodegradable, it's totally biodegradable in the sense that even though it looks more a paper like our layer, but it's made out of corn starch, a product made out of corn which is from the soil, and it goes back to the soil. So every single layer you find in ours, even though it looks more like a paper, but it is not a paper, it's made out of corn starch. And here again in Ghana, the law says that we should not produce paper anymore or rubber anymore, even though it is still illegally moving around the country. If you go to the industrial area, you are not permitted to produce such things, but people still do it. And we felt that the issue of disposing sanitary pad or waste management sanitary pad is a challenge. And if we join the rhythm dancing in the same tune, then we are not helping them. So we develop a system where we have, for example, our own machine, that extract the fiber. Then we look at outside in India to see which of the factory that, and then in Swiss as well, that produce papers from the corn starch that can at least keep the blood from, So that's what I mean by ours is organic and biodegradable.
So what does the production process look like? I know that there's a way that you've created to be able to include the women in the value chain as well.
Yes, that is very interesting for us because that is where we see it is the value chain. Women are integrated in the whole process from raw material to the factory and then into the marketing. Because we go into the villages, they extract the fiber from the waste product of an cultural product, which when you harvest the plantain, is the stem is lying down, there is already a waste. So the women, we train them on how to extract the fiber. And in some of the places where we've installed the machines for the fiber extraction, the waste of the fiber is also used as an organic manure to farm. And then these women, when they extract the fiber, we go back to the village, buy the fibers from them, and then bring the fiber into our factory. It go through the process, become a sanitary pad. We go back to the village, we give it to the same women who extract the fiber, and then they sell it within the community. And then thank God for mobile money exchange and all of that. They just say, oh, our command is finished, we send it back. So the whole process is women, and we name it as part for the women, by the women, and for the women. So I call it a transcended philosophy that empower women in every stage through education, entrepreneurship, leadership, and so on. So without the women, already.
True story. Was there a one moment that inspired or motivated Pridepad or forming of Pridepad? Because I know you've mentioned that it's an extension of RECFAM, but what particularly led you to say that, oh, this is something that we should do?
Yes, I find out that in the rural area where we mostly work, we rescue children, reintegrate them in rural communities, deportees, migrants, and so on. We send them to rural communities and so on. And we've just found out that most of the young girls are being forced into marriage, like I earlier mentioned. And one of them was that once you start menstruating, you are already a grown-up girl, so you're ready to produce. And the family also don't want to feel ashamed for you giving birth in the house, so they send you to marriage. Then the other aspect was also that we find out that the issue of stigmatization was really a problem, where you are considered dirty and unclean in the community. So to the extent that people, when you are menstruating, you don't have to cook a particular food. In some tribes in Ghana here, in the place of worship, you are not even supposed to sit in the place of worship. You are considered, in fact, dirty. And in some part, like in the northern part of Ghana, you are supposed to sit in sun. When you are menstruating, you are not supposed to move out. You just make a sun and sit right there, you know. And some places, the men just like, you are too dirty, you don't come nearer to us. And we find that to be very challenging. And we're like, if we're in a global village where everything is not easy going, why should people be stigmatized? And then the most important part also was that the imported sanitary pads target urban areas, not rural areas. That is another aspect. Then the third one was also that it is unaffordable. They can't buy this sanitary pad. So we were like, how can we come out to get a sanitary pad that cut across where even the rural folks, even they have no money, nothing, they can afford it. Even if they cannot afford it, we can do a kind of exchange. You know, bring us some product, we give you the sanitary pad. And so we're looking at what to do. And then we thought, okay, even though we are not reinventing the wheel, so what can we do to be as a pioneers in Ghana? And that was where we came out with this idea, like, okay, let's try the banana and plantain fiber to see, even though in Rwanda they are already doing it. So we're like, okay, we route to Rwanda, nobody was ready to answer us, nobody was ready to share with us, you know, so we have to do the whole thing in our process all together. So to answer your question was just like I said, because girls were being forced out to marriage, you know, and family don't want to have them given birth in the house. Secondly, the imported one target only the urban cities, and then that they are being stigmatized, you know, and they sit in every way. So that was the whole idea that came out with the sanitary pad.
Yeah, so you've mentioned that you went to Rwanda and asked some questions and no one was willing to help you to figure the whole thing out. So what were your next steps to making it a reality, to making Pridepad a reality?
It's just stay focused. I want to address the challenge. So somebody refusing to share problems should not be a hindrance to my vision. There are alternatives. So that was the whole thing that drive me. I'm like, no, I'm not going to stop this. I have to find out the solution to it. And it worked without any help from anywhere. Like Rwanda never share any information to us. They never say, okay, this is how we do it. We figure it out ourselves. And that is what we should do in life. The world is too big. We could figure out things and do ourselves. And that just led me to chip it in, like, the way the Western world is developing is because they are creative. They create things out of nothing. But we want to replicate things, you know, and the culture of replication and maintenance is not the African style. So if you start with yours, because it's your idea, you want to maintain it, and you have to upgrade it to a level which you want. So that's why we ignore them and like, we have to do it ourselves. Yeah.
So why particularly banana/plantain? Is it because it's readily available, or
yes.
Is there? Okay.
It's because it's readily available. You don't need to import it here and there. Like I said already, we came out with, even though the extraction of it is a tedious work, I wouldn't say tedious anyway. It's easy if you understand how to do it. But on our own, we have invented the machine to extract the fiber. So we didn't go to look for technology from Indian or from the Western world or from wherever. We did it. You see, and again, this is product that grew wildly. You don't even need to have a proper cultivating system. This grew in the bush anywhere, you know. So, and even in our doing, even teaching women how to extract the fiber, the Ministry of Agri came in, and they are now also showing them on how to trim the plantain and the banana so that there should be enough air so that it can have a good yield, which was never the case because it just grew wildly and then they come out very tiny because there is not enough ventilation and all of that. So you see, so so that was the reason for us, and then we want to use everything local. We didn't want to import anything.
I read that Pridepad is a hybrid social enterprise. What does that mean?
Oh, that's why we just said that you rightly said from the beginning that if women are integrated in the whole value chain, then there's a need that you need to keep it sustainable. And in keeping it sustainable, you need to also make it as a social enterprise, you know, taking from the community and giving back to the community. So, and that is why the price is very affordable. Even with anyone with a little income, you can afford it. You know, even if it's a matter of like 3, 4, 5 cities, you should be able to buy it in the month, you know. And then secondly, we could also write to non-profit organizations to see if they can support girls here and there, you know. So it's taking back from the community and giving back to the community. That's what makes Pridepad a social enterprise.
Thank you so much for sharing so far.
Yeah.
I'm very curious what your personal journey was to become the founder of this project. What did you do before and how did you end up in this position?
I think the one thing is like you need to identify a need. And once you identify a need, you look for a solution. I will be honest with you, the journey was not easy. If I say it was an easy journey, I'm a big liar. You know, we started RECFAM in 2004. And we had all the challenges. And I'm sure you agree with me, where you write proposal here and there, you put your all and people threw it down. They don't even notice what you are doing, you know. But we never give it up. And then through our work, we identified this need. And when we identified this need, we wanted to address the need. It was not easy. There was no funding because one, you don't have the money to do it. That is first. Secondly, you talk to people, you think they will buy your idea. They are like, no, it's a new product. We don't know whether it's going to sell. We go to the bank with like, okay, we need some loan. We even want to use our land as a collateral. And they are like, no, this machine is a new machine in the system. We don't know even whether you'll be able to do it, you know. And again, the product is not known, so you have no brand name. So why should we give you the money? So if we even take the machine as a collateral, if you are not able to pay us, we can't sell the machine. So we are sorry, we cannot help you. So it was a challenge. And I sat down, I talked with my partners and my friend. I'm like, hey, there is a need. And if we identify the need, let's look at the solution. You know, and once you begin to have a solution to a need, money will look for you. But if you have money and you don't have the ideas, the money will finish. So you have the ideas, the money will look for the ideas. So let's go on with this idea and make sure we work on it. So we have to gather money here and there, went to look for our first machine, bought the machine, came in, and then the demand was too high, to the extent the Ministry of Education wanted us to pilot the project in 3 regions. But the machine capacity became too low. And then in the next moment, it's kaput.
The machine?
Yes.
It broke. Oh, wow.
Broke. And then to repair it, we cannot be able to repair it because it's an imported machine.
Okay.
And
so where did you import the machine from?
From India.
From India?
Yeah.
Okay. And now you started building your own machines?
Exactly.
Or? Okay. So you first imported, you tested, you figured out how this thing works with the plantain fiber.
Yes.
And then you said, okay, we can replicate this here locally and improve on it.
Exactly.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yes. And that's how we went from there now, and we're doing whatever we're doing, working together with Gratis Foundation, and they're replicating the machines for us. But I will tell you, even up till that, even sometimes we write proposal out because we feel like we have about 3.6 million school-going girls in Ghana. And most of these girls are in the rural areas. And the research or statistics is showing like these girls are missing 5 days in school every month when they are menstruating, you know, and women are not attending any social activities when they are menstruating. So if you look at already, the market is really huge. For example, even if you have to supply just a 1 million sanitary pad every single month to this girl, forget about the 3.6, we're not able to meet the demand. But now you go out there, like I will recall when we won the award for the Seed West African Award, and even though there was no money given to us, it was already a help to us, like boost us, you know, let us people know that, well, you are doing the right thing. Then we have people who are interested in the project and they come in, but they are not looking at the social aspect of it. They are looking at how much profit they will make. Looking at all these letters we have had from these institutions and from this non-profit organization who are ready to distribute the pad out, like buy the pad from us and distribute to the rural areas and so on. And they are like, okay, we're gonna give you $500,000, but we have to work with you for 7 good years. And after 7 good years, we give it to you and you can run your own thing how you want it. But we felt like that was not our focus. We are a social enterprise. Even though we make profit to sustain the activities, but we don't want to go solely as a profit-making organization. Then we lost our mandate. And so because of that, we turned it down, and it didn't go on well because we need to also meet the demands. You see, so from there, when Gratis Foundation started with our own machine, we of course, as for the fiber extraction, it's our own invention. And then we brought this Gratis Foundation, is under the Ministry of Energy also, I think, to replicate the machine. And then they started, it's working, so we have our machine now, so we don't. But it's just to tell you, it is determination, focus, and don't lose hope. And don't let anyone beside you draw you back and say, oh, hey, what are you doing? Because it's like crazy for me standing in the school, in the rural areas, in community, talking about sanitary pads, talking about menstruation, and they're like, how can a man be talking about menstruation? They even can make a mockery out of you and you feel uncomfortable. So, but this again, we develop what we call community entering approach, to be able to overcome that challenges of people saying you are a man, you don't supposed to be talking about these kind of things and all of that. Oh no, like I have a video, we video one guy, he said, no, when my wife is menstruating, I'm vomiting. I can't eat any food when she's menstruating, when she cooks. My daughter, I don't want to see her around when she's menstruating. And yet you are in this community and saying menstruation is a national phenomenon. People will look at you like you are crazy, And the interesting part is that if they do and you focus on them, you will deviate from what you intend to do. But it has not been easy, but here we are grateful. We've even come out from what it was normally without the wings. We're now having what we're producing the wings sanitary pad now. So meaning we move from one state to another.
Wow, yeah. Step by step.
Exactly.
And long term.
Yeah.
But now I'm very curious about, because you mentioned when you as a man come into a community and you speak about menstruation that maybe even the women are uncomfortable speaking about, how do you overcome that challenge that you just mentioned?
Yeah, one of the things is that the passion for what you do will determine whether you overcome your challenges. If you don't have the passion for what you want to do, you cannot overcome your challenges. The challenges will pull you down and you'll forget the needs that you're supposed to meet, So you stay focused and don't look at the people, and you know that you have your facts. You've done your research work. Sometimes you go with medical teams, they should let them understand the issue of reproductive health and all of that. Let them also know that gynecological problems are not caused by witches or juju or whatever they will call it, but your wife even not giving birth is not the issue of that. Somebody somewhere has,
Yeah, that's the magic.
Exactly. But some of these are also caused by the product that you use. you know, especially when you are menstruating as a woman. So they are like, okay. So some of them come behind and they want to talk secretly. But again, like I said, the first thing to overcome it, I mentioned it already, is to do what you call community entering approach in a very sensible way. Because you cannot get to a community where menstruation is a taboo, they don't want to hear about it, they don't want to say anything about it. And then you just go straight and you started talking, they'll throw you out of the community. So we overcome it first by meeting the opinion leaders, explaining the whole idea to them, what we wanted to do and how we want to do it, and let them see with us and then agree with us. And then they gave us a platform.
They give you the platform and the permission to talk about it.
Yes.
Then it becomes okay.
And become okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
How many women benefit from Pride Pads at the moment?
See, we work in 6 communities, and in each of these 6 communities, 70 women are extracting the fiber.
Wow. Okay, and those are the producing.
Yeah.
Those are the people that are producing.
Yeah.
Okay. And how many women are receiving pads at the moment?
That one, like I told you, the demand is very huge. The last, we had 72,000. But again, like I said, the machine just kaput again. That we are trying to, because the demand is too high. So we've gone to 72,000 as at in 2018.
Wow.
Yeah, which today we only have regular supply of 250 every month. To those we have maintained them because it's our organization. They are very faithful with us, and we also want to make sure that these are some of the communities that the issue of child and forced marriage is rampant, and so we want to make sure that regularly we give them sanitary pad every month. Yeah. Yes, and 250 girls are taking this sanitary pad every month from us.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the other ones have some fluctuation at the moment because of the limited supply that you have.
Exactly.
But then, you know, I really love this share because I think because it's something that you use regularly, you have to create a sustainable business model, a functioning economic model behind it. Yeah. Otherwise, you will always run out. And a one-time aid action, even if it helps sporadically for one time, will again be a failure because then what? And then what, right?
Yeah.
So then that makes a lot of sense. Now, what would be your advice to young people in Ghana today?
Have you come across the story in Ghana that said the unemployment graduate youth? That's meaning these are university graduates who have no job, and they have formed an association and they call themselves unemployment youth. We have to find the name properly. But that for me is very funny. With all your school into the university level, you join an association as an unemployment youth association and you're making a noise on the street for the government to create job for you. Hey, then the government is not going to create any job for you anyway. You see, the reason you go to school is to be creative, is to come out with ideas of your own. And you should be able to fit in every environment. I read anthropology. I moved from anthropology. I read philosophy, pragmatic philosopher. I've written about 4 books, many articles here and there. I lecture, visiting lectures in many universities around the world. Okay, I'm a farmer. I'm creating one of the biggest amusement park in West Africa, I will call it. I've got about 85 acres of land already. Architectural work is done. I'm working with Poma Company in France, Garavanta in Switzerland, and then Jesben in Toboggan in Germany. And this is like build an African village on top of the mountain with chalet, hotel, every facility down there. And then we'll create what we call build affordable houses within the community to make it a local own, so that people can stay there. Even if they are bored, they can go up there. Okay. At the same time, I have a corn mill somewhere in the village, they're grounding meals for the locals. I'm doing sanitary pads. I'm working for these organizations. I write books. I have one of my latest book now I'm writing, I call it Dead in Life and Life in Death. I've already finished writing it. I'm trying to. But this is me doing it. That is me alone. And this is what I tell the young people, that, you know, the mind, you can do anything once you dream of it. And do not let any obstacles that come on your way or you fail. It's a stepping stone to go ahead and to move forward in whatever you want to do. But if you could graduated from school with all the certificate and you are sitting, don't live a traditional life. You know what I mean? A traditional life, born, received by a human being, given a name by a human being, trained by a human being, get a job to do from a human being, get married, started producing children, retired, die, buried by human being. A one-way life. And that for me is a boring life. So what mark have you gave to the world? So if my father was this, I should be better than my father. If in my community people ended in this way, I should go higher than than the people in the community, than living a traditional way of life. So for me, I tell every single young youth and anyone I come across and say, my friend, the world is too big for you to sit in this small place and think you cannot make an impact in life. And that is why even in our work, we've gone into the various communities, we form what we call self-migration clubs for the youth. And the self-migration clubs for the youth is to identify the potential within the communities and introduce them to this youth. And I can tell you, if you don't have time, we could go in some of the associations to meet with them. You see the impact they are making, and they are thanking us and say, oh, I never thought. Because the thing is right in front of you, but you are looking somewhere. So that is all what we've been doing. And when it comes to the women, we form what we call cooperative, you know, and say, hey, you've been living as a farmer, you only do cash crop, you know, hand to mouth and all of that. Form a cooperative. Go to the rural banks or to the bank as an association. Ask for money, expand your business, and that. And they are doing it and it's working. So to the extent when you reach in the villages, they who you like you are some kind of a god, you know, coming into the community. But yet, you go into the city, just here in Accra, they go on the street marching and saying that the government has not given them job. So you don't wait for the government to give you jobs. So it's a challenge for the youth. I tell them, go out and do something that somebody has never done it before.
Wow, I love that. That is very good advice. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yes.